You're the chocolate lady / religious advisor.
Only when you need it.
I love that you don't talk politics or religion, but yet you have a religious advisor.
It's the only show
Right,
around.
he's the
isn't
one
it?
that brings it up too.
That's right. We
Oh, God.
Rock on Radio is sponsored by Neil Zoe of Cranford, New Jersey, as well as Eileen Sullivan, actress extraordinaire, and CPA Jody Weber.
No
As
one
well
likes,
as,
no one likes to pay taxes.
as well as, no. Like going through the radio announcer voice, we will talk about the only radio show sponsored by a Grammy Award-winning hot sauce maker, Zen Archer.
I love it. That's good. Golf does you well.
I told you, see, I don't care.
That's a good mood to be in sometimes.
I'm just like mellow.
You're stressless.
I am.
I like you. And you're going to say, I don't care. And then we're all going to say we like you. And I'm going to say, I don't care. Is that what this is?
No, I'm going to absorb your lovely vibes.
Yeah, man.
And say, I don't care.
He's in my territory now.
See, this is done without any supplements.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of supplements,
Yeah.
are you going to come and see Neo Zoe at their 3rd anniversary?
When is that?
This entire month.
Oh, cool.
May 15th was the actual anniversary of the
Oh.
grand opening.
Yeah, I didn't get an invite that day. What
It's
did we
been all
do?
over Facebook.
Was there a party? What,
No,
you don't talk to me anymore?
it's not a party without you, Danny.
Yeah, figures.
See that? Very funny. But I did post your memory. Did you even notice?
My
On
memory.
Facebook, yeah. When you told me you had an Uber home.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, it came up in my memory
Did
file.
it really?
Yeah, so I put it out there. I said, I remember this. You didn't even see it, did you?
No. Why
You
was
really not, and I don't
tagged?
care mode, do you?
No, I don't really. I would have definitely commented on that.
My feelings are very hurt.
Yeah, my shoulders are very hurt.
I'll fix that.
This is all for our guest this evening, who is from, where are you from? Anyway,
Originally or currently?
let's go both.
I grew up in North Jersey, in Montville. But I
Montville.
live in Howell now.
In Howell, okay. I actually know people that live in Montville.
Really?
Mhm. Oh, yes. Jerry Lardieri.
Thank you for having me.
It is. Thank you for making the trip
No
from
problem.
Howell. It's not that far from Howell.
You might want to wait till we're done to thank me. Let's see how it
Really?
goes.
You might want to wait till we're done to think about telling anybody about this. If you want to reach out to us tonight, you can do so by calling 609-241-7103, 609-241-7103, or Facebook, Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio 2, the number 2. Twitter, Rock On Radio, all one word, all capital letters, like that. Fuego.
I didn't know what it said. Sorry.
They're extremely hot. I just got them at Six Flags.
Pecos Fuego, hot chili pepper and lime tortilla chips.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, that's why I brought them here.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Have the chocolate?
No.
No, but I bet
sorry.
you if you ate one of these, I'll bet you.
You're gonna need chocolate afterwards.
I bet you if you ate one of these chocolate bars on that chip, you'd have sweet,
Yeah.
spicy, and, oh, Jerry.
Yeah.
Nice combo.
I'll bring one next week.
No, you can have. Seriously.
Hard stealing mare's chocolate.
The only chocolate I can eat too.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just
chocolate
want
ladies
one.
here, so we have chocolate. So, Jerry, you are here, and thank you. First of all, let me thank you because you did what very few other bands over the last 9+ years have done.
Showed up?
What's that?
Not only did you show up, but you promoted your appearance here, and I greatly
Oh.
appreciate
Oh,
it.
of course.
Thank you
No
very
problem.
much for that. Very few, one of my bugaboos about musicians, or they do not know how to promote themselves. You know,
I try. It's tough because it almost seems like if you do it too much, and I know you had a conversation with someone about this a couple weeks ago because I was listening back to the archives. I did some homework before we came in here.
something else nobody ever does.
And it's like if you post it more than once, you're like, whoa, slow down. Why are you posting that so much? Leave space for my cat pictures and salads. So it's a fine line. You try not to beat it to death, but I wanted people to tune in and hopefully call in. I said I would give a T-shirt out to whoever called from the furthest geographic distance.
Ooh.
So let's hope
Nice.
I don't get embarrassed and nobody calls in.
Oh, please call. That just was an open invitation.
7103-609-7103.
609-241-71.
Sunday.
Coleman's tripping.
Really,
Whoa.
He's just putting up with me. Did you hear that? Like I talked about you a couple nights ago on a different show.
Oh, no, I watched that entire show, actually.
And I said that you actually put up with me. Not once, but twice.
Twice. Yes, you
So
did.
thank you for doing that.
For what?
Putting up with me and my shenanigans.
Shalanda.
Yes.
Yes.
Why are you asking?
Because I'm afraid what he'll say.
All right. So, all right, the Brixton Riot. So who was in this band?
Okay, so it is myself along with Mr. Mark Wright, who is on lead guitar, and Mr. Stephen Haas, who plays bass and sings, and Mr. Matt Horitz on drums. All spread to far corners of New Jersey. We could not have picked a worse setup for a band. We are literally at the four corners of the state.
And I guess that would explain why none of them have chosen to
Yes.
ride with you.
That would explain that. Yeah.
You're in this corner.
Yes.
This is like central Jersey. I mean, you're like right in the middle.
Yes, which is right. I mean, it was a straight shot down 33 for me, so
Right.
it wasn't too bad. But I mean, like Matt's in Long Valley.
Ooh.
Yeah. He hates when we play in Asbury Park.
Yeah.
But when we play in Clifton,
Oh, he's happy about
he's
that.
happy about
Of
that.
course.
And I hate when we play in Clifton.
Of course. I don't blame you.
That's a haul.
Hey, you Montvale, I had an ex-girlfriend, her sister lived in Montvale,
Okay.
up there. Now, I always hate it. It's like that ride was 3 segments.
Yeah, that's a far ride.
What is he doing?
He has allergies in his eyes, but he doesn't realize he's even on camera on YouTube. Everybody's watching.
Yeah, actually.
No, there's no camera listening here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, tonight it
Got
does.
your knees.
I'm actually focusing in on you.
People on radio that cannot see what he's doing. He's putting a wet tissue over his eyes. He's
Do we
has
take a
really got
picture?
Whatever
allergies.
works.
Better take multiple pictures.
Oh, and there's Art. Look at that. Put the camera right on. See that?
What?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Just goes to show
Oh,
you to watch
come on.
yourself on this show. Never
Oh,
close your
come
eyes
on.
and always be on guard.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
Shows you what kind of host I am, Jerry. I didn't even realize you were on YouTube. Figuring out about
I was
that.
watching art from over here. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there he is. He's got it. Okay, so, all right, so who's from Long Valley?
Matt,
All right, and that's your drummer.
that's a drummer.
And where are the other two from?
Steve lives in Bayonne. So you can see
Nice.
we're making the corners here.
Oh, man.
And then, yeah. And Mark's in Red Bank. So Mark and I are fairly close.
Okay, so you guys are close.
So what we do is we meet in Raritan.
Hey, Woodfish, Woodrock.
Woodrock Studio.
Yeah, at Woodrock.
Yeah,
How'd you guess? I guess there's no.
I know that place.
I've
Oh,
rehearsed,
yeah, Carmen's awesome.
I've rehearsed there
Carmen
multiple times.
They're great.
That's a great place.
It is a great place.
He's a big fan of Rush.
Oh my God, it's everywhere there. Rush is prominent in
Excuse
our
me.
social media feeds because every time we play there, we take a picture of the posters on the wall.
Oh, there, right?
Yeah.
That's my studio setup.
I think it might be the best rehearsal studio we've ever played at. You know,
Really?
usually, I mean, you played in a ton of bands. Those places are usually cold. So, I mean, it's clean. The equipment all works every time you go there. They're friendly. I shouldn't be talking about it because it's hard enough getting a slot there.
Yeah,
you know? Actually, it sucks. Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's
The worst studio ever.
It's great, man.
Wouldn't even like Carmen.
Carmen and Kathy are awesome.
No, they're good.
They're great people.
So, okay, so with them guys all so spread out, how did you form, let alone
Okay.
rehearse?
So I'm gonna go. I knew you were gonna ask me this. I was trying to figure out a way to tell the story without being too long or boring. So just reel me in if it gets a little too crazy.
We got 2 hours.
So Mark and Steve grew up together in Bayonne. So they went to grade school together. I'm not sure if they played in bands, but they knew each other their whole lives. And then in '98, I started a band with Steve called Electrolux that was together for 2 years and played no gigs.
Like,
It's every time
like the vacuum?
like the vacuum.
That's right.
That's why there was no gigs, right?
That's right. Yes, that wasn't just a clever name.
There was a copyright infringement.
So that's Electrolux.
Ah, okay.
And every time it was time to play a gig, the drummer would quit. And I mean, it happened 5 times. And then finally we're like, all right, this is just not going to happen. So we stopped trying. And Steve joined a band called Mercury to Hell. But then back in, I'd say 2002, Mark was in Asbury Park. He had a house. He invited Steve over to jam, and I went over also. And that was when I first met Mark. And we took a walk down to Palace Amusements that day, which is why we got
That's the title of the first
That's
album?
the title of the first
Okay.
album. And man, Asbury Park was a very different place in 2002.
Yes, it was.
And we came out from playing, and there were a bunch of local youths playing baseball using my car as the backstop. So the balls were just hitting the door of my car. So I'm like, all right, here we go now. And
So they were in the lot across the street from the Wonder Bar, is what you're telling me, pretty much.
I'm not sure if it was, his house was right next to a convent, and then right across the street from the convent was an empty lot.
There's our religious advisor. Where's that at?
In Asbury Park.
It's probably
I'm in
gone.
geography.
It's probably gone now.
Question.
But his
I
neighbors.
don't know where he's going.
Well, there's still that church. There's still that church with the convent on Heck and First.
That might be it. Mark, if you're listening, call in and let us know.
609-241-7102. Win a
So,
t-shirt of your own band.
no friends or band members are in on the t-shirt.
That's the disclosure. That's for the fast talking guy.
Yeah.
I like that voice. Very much. I like that.
Okay.
Oh, any more gigs for movies for you?
emceeing movie festivals.
Oh, no.
Okay, back to the story.
Go back to the
For
story.
sure.
That was pretty random. That's pretty
So
random.
a couple of years passed, and then Mark's friend was making a movie, and he did some original music. So we got together again as a group that eventually became the Brixton Riot. We found a drummer named Rob. Rob played with us for about a year, and he decided he wanted to do something else, so he left. And then we met Matt, and Matt joined the band, and that's been about 10 years now. Yeah, Matt's been in the band. We've been in the band 11 years, and Matt's been in the band for 10. And so, I mean, I don't want to. I still consider Rob was in the band, but I mean, when I think of the Brixton Riot, I think of Matt, Mark, Steven, myself.
Okay. Now how about the name?
I knew you were gonna ask that too. Okay, so naming the band was a real pain. We went through more awful names. We used those band name generators. We were
How did that work?
Is it a work?
no,
It's a-
we were the off season for about a week, which was not horrible but not good. And we were Hot Decoy was another one that the machine kicked out. I liked it, but Steve was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So Steve said, why don't we call it the Brixton Riot? Because all the bands we liked were the 70s bands from the UK, not just the Clash, but, the Jam, the Chords, the Damned. There were so many great punk bands from that time period, the Buzzcocks, so it was perfect, and, but of course, a lot of people go, well, they're just copying the Clash, with the Brixton Riot, which is nonsense. But we went along with it. We went with it anyway. And our first show, I walked in, and Del from Melody Bar and from WMSC,
Oh,
he booked the Loop Lounge. That was where our first show was. And the first thing he said, and I was like shaking. I was so nervous. The first thing was like, Brixton Riot. You know what that means, right? Just like that. And I'm like, yeah, I know what it means, man. It's okay. We're not, we're not trying to, it's not a political thing. It's just, kind of the music that we were into. And Steve says he likes it because it almost sounds like a sports team, like the Brixton Riot. So that was where the name came from. Although it's gotten us in trouble sometimes. We played a festival up in upstate New York, and an English music journalist was there, John Niven, and he's like, so you guys aren't, like an oi band, right? Because, you're all bald, you all have shaved heads and you're calling me I'm like, John, I don't shave my head. 90% of it is just nature. It's just gone. Okay. But no, it's not, doesn't really have a political slant to it. It's certainly not that political slant to it.
All because they didn't want to be called the hot decoy.
Yeah. Which is kind of a funny name when you think about it, That was a funny name.
You do have that kind of sound of those bands, those UK bands.
We try.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's a great sound. You have that.
We tend to, go for also a lot of like the Minnesota bands, like the Replacements and Husker Du. Big fans of those guys. So, tend to lean that way too.
Cool.
I saw a band from Minnesota not too long ago, actually several weeks ago. And they were called City of the Week,
Okay.
WEAK.
Okay.
They freaking rock.
They're good.
They had bass, drums, guitar, and a girl out front. And she was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And they were on tour with, excuse me, Echo Black.
Okay.
What's the name of the band? And there were a couple other ones, a couple local ones. But it was a new music venue in Asbury Park Music Foundation, right next to Lake House.
Okay. Oh, in Russo's? It's over there by Russo's too? Oh, wow. I've never heard of that.
Oh, yeah. You go to Russo?
Yeah. I go and look at things that I cannot afford. And then I go home.
The original Russo's is like 10
Right up
minutes
the road,
from my house, yeah. However, what you need to do, closer to you, or maybe not, probably in the middle, our good friend Mario Di Bartolo owns Mom's Music.
Oh, I go there a lot. I bought a guitar there.
Mario is a very good friend of mine. Actually, he and I we had a gig yesterday at the
Oh, you
Ninth
did?
Street Italian Festival.
Oh, okay. It's a big, it's a big private gig for you.
Oh, yeah. Even with the bad weather, there's a real
Oh, it's
nice
good.
crowd there, which actually, see,
That's Mario.
there's Mario right there. Next to
Mario.
Mario, I got to tell you this story because this was funny. That's Cindy Drew.
Okay.
Okay. Mario says, he goes, come on, we got time. They haven't even finished. They haven't even taken the sound system off the truck yet because it was raining, She says, he goes, come on, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. So we walk across the street to get a cup of coffee. So I said to a police officer there, I said, where's the grease pole at? Because that's where WMGK is supposed to be broadcasting from.
Right.
And he says, oh, I gotta go down there, big picture of Mayor Rizzo, it's, okay. So he goes, why am I following you? Why are we going to a grease pole? you know the way Mario talks, right?
I'd
So,
be saying the same thing.
so I said, well, we're not actually gonna go do the grease pole, we're gonna find my friend Cindy Drew. He goes, wait a minute, you know Cindy Drew? I said, yeah, I know Cindy Drew. No, you know the Cindy Drew. I was like, yes, I know Cindy Drew. Says, Danny, I've been listening to her since like 79, 80 when she was on WMMR. She's like an icon.
Right.
I said, yeah, she's a real sweetheart too. I said, she's gonna put me on the air. And if you come, you'll be on the air too. Come on.
He went with you.
So Mario, so we're walking down the street and he's like, I can't believe I'm gonna get to meet Cindy Drew. He must have said it half a dozen times. Right? So we get there and we get there and I said, hey, Cindy. She's like, oh, hey, how you doing? We're talking. And Mario's just kind of standing there like
Starstruck.
and I'm like, Mario, this is Cindy Drew. And he's like, I've been listening to you, Yeah, but he was so funny, and it was, it was nice because he's like, do you think she'll take a picture with me?
All this from a guy who has Eric Clapton has his picture on the wall.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Eric Clapton's roadie brings his guitar to his store. Anybody who plays the bass, he comes down to see him. And he's like, Cindy, but she is. Cindy's a real sweetie. She put me on the air for about 25 seconds.
Hey, that's
Actually,
great though.
Just to promote the name of the band and where we were playing and, help us get people down there to see it. But,
And the name of your band is?
we are called Boss Radio AM Gold.
Your radio voice, please.
Yeah.
I mean, like a boss job,
Yeah.
like what we do with that.
Yes. I want to hear it.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Dave, here's the Boss Jocks and Boss Radio AM Gold coming to you right now here from the 9th Street Italian Festival in Philadelphia, PA.
Yes.
Need to reverb on that.
Yeah.
Heavy reverb.
Actually, Mario kind of committed to Rockfest. I'm just not sure with which band.
Maybe some way for you. You should do it.
With us? Yeah, that'd be an interesting day. A fun day, actually, but, so, okay. But, yeah, so Mario he was so funny. That's when that picture came.
So go and see Mario, mention the show, and get a discount.
That's right. Tell Mario you know us.
I will do that.
You
That's right,
take
he's
care
double.
of whoever
All right.
Why not? Why not?
told me heard about.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, Mario's.
Mario's a really good guy.
So, okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here. And I'm there often.
Okay.
You're cracking.
And they usually break. That's right. Punk influences?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. From
absolutely.
all the members or from just certain ones or?
No, I think everybody has some of that, all big replacement fans.
Okay.
That's probably the one that's kind of across the board. Husker Du, definitely. Although Matt is definitely the primo Husker Du fan in the band. And then the rest of us, I was late to the party on Husker Du. I was familiar. I was a big Sugar fan, Bob Mould's second band. And, he's like, you should really go back and listen to all the Husker Du records. And I did. Like, okay, I'm a Husker Du fan too, yeah. But we all love that stuff. The Dam, The Clash, The Jam, what else? Buzzcocks, I mentioned, big fan of them. All that kind of stuff. And
So are you the principal songwriter?
no, we are. I like to say that we're all the songwriters. There's different ways the songs come to the band. Some of the songs I'll bring fully formed. Some of them Mark will bring fully formed. Some of them Steve will bring fully formed. And actually Matt brought. I really wanted to play it, but I tried to do it on acoustic guitar and it was just not happening. But Matt brought a song to the band and we recorded it at Water Music. And it was one of the last sessions before they closed Water Music down in Hoboken. So that'll be coming out later. He wrote a song, and so we did that one. So really, everybody brings some songs, and then sometimes someone will bring a part of a song, and then we'll work on it together. Sometimes we'll just get in a room and jam, and something will come out of it. So what's up? What did I miss? What's everybody laughing?
We're laughing at Art.
Let's do Art.
He's up to his shenanigans.
Trying not to.
What's he doing?
By the way, Art, I love that. I love that T-shirt. By the way.
See,
Dodge addiction.
Art doesn't realize that every time he gets up to steal a piece of chocolate, the camera gets his butt bended over. Well, we're chocolate. I goes on. I don't need chocolate.
And he tries to be very,
sticks his
inconspicuous
mouth
about it, but it doesn't work.
That's
Or
what
you hear the
people love.
rapper,
I'm gonna
never
get-
silent. That's what we're laughing at. It's not at you. It's
So,
because
so Water Studios,
problem.
Waterfront, or
Water Music.
It used to be Waterfront, right? Was it
I'm
Waterfront?
not sure
Is
actually.
it Dave Dominich? Is it Mitch?
No, it's oh man, I can't believe I'm gonna forget his name now. Rob Grenoble.
Okay,
Rob Grenoble.
that sounds familiar.
He ran it for years.
Oh, okay.
But it was
Then he had a nuclear meltdown.
Oh,
Oh, wait, that was Chernobyl.
yeah.
no, because I've heard it's supposed to be a great place.
It was a great place.
Yeah, yeah.
It was flooded so many times. I mean, it's Hoboken. It's always getting flooded. And then
Yeah.
when Sandy came, we were there. The engineer that was working with us, we actually working with Rob Ferrari, and he showed us halfway up the wall. He's like, "See that, Mark?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "That's where the water was." I'm like, "What?" I mean, it was almost over our heads. And I mean, the whole room was had to be redone, and then it got flooded again, and then
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything in Hoboken is becoming condos. I think this is too.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a shame. But it's pretty cool that we got to record there. They have an amazing Neve console that is just humongous in that studio. It was awesome to
It's great.
kind of sit
I
behind.
was going to ask you, how do you guys record? You record like almost live, right? You almost like put it together that way, as
Yeah.
opposed to just tracking over tracking over tracking.
No, we actually all three records, all the basic tracks were done live.
Right.
The last one, which is Close Counts, the one that just came out in October, we recorded that with James Robbins from Government Issue. He has an awesome studio down in Baltimore called Magpie Cage.
Great.
And we did it to tape with him, which was
Oh, that's
great.
wonderful. Great.
Yeah, it was cool and just an awesome experience being down there. I think that's our place now.
Oh,
Which
cool.
is
Because
expensive.
I've done some listening on YouTube and stuff like that, and it sounds like it's primarily live stuff.
Yeah, I mean we'll go. I mean the guitars sometimes we'll go back.
Yeah.
Or cut guitars, obviously vocals, but all the and I think with Palace Amusements, which was the second one, there was a little bit more with the edits on things, and that was more of the guy who engineered that, who was also a really great guy, a really good guy, Frank Marchand. He was going for a really clean sound,
Yeah.
but I don't think it. I think the way Jay does it is it's just what you record is what you record. You make a little mistake, there's a little mistake on it, and that's the way it should be. I think a lot of times when people talk about, and this is going to turn into a whole philosophical conversation, but a lot of people when they talk
Nah,
about
not with us.
No. We agree with your way.
You know what it is? Everyone says digital doesn't sound as good as analog. I think it's not the medium you're recording onto, it's the way people are making music now.
Yes.
It's just different,
Richie and I have talked about this, and I've talked about this countless weeks. With the ability to just point and click and drag, it takes out, I think, the mistakes or the parts that you do that you didn't either mean to do or you meant to do and screwed up.
Yeah.
Now you may know that, but this is original music. People listening to it aren't going to know that. They're going to think you meant to do it.
Yeah, Danny loves the mistakes. He loves a really
I do.
live kind of a thing.
I do. I love a lot.
I'm not quite there yet because I also love to edit and stuff. But speaking of Danny, he just loves that humanness, like music, just like busting it out and playing it, leaving mistakes in, and just being just.
Yeah, playing out of tune.
Yeah, he loves that. No, we just about
Well, I
it,
mean,
you know?
look at I'm drawing a blank on the song. What's the Beatles song that starts with feedback? It was the first. A lot of people say it's the first recording.
Oh,
of
yeah.
feedback.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm
I
drawing
keep
a blank.
blanking on it. Is it I Feel Fine?
Yes.
Okay. Now that opens with George Harrison almost hitting like an off note and
Yeah.
the guitar feedback. Could you imagine hearing that song without that in it?
Yeah,
No, I mean,
yeah. So
that
it becomes that thing.
yeah.
Yeah, man, you're right. Yeah.
No, right.
I'm a romantic with this stuff.
No, because there are so many really good stories over the years of rock and roll mistakes that turn into what people remember about the song. To me, the best was Bill Kirchen
Yeah.
from Commander Cody's Lost Planet Airmen, the guitar player, Titan the Telecaster, the guy that it's his version of Hot Rod Lincoln that everybody remembers
Okay.
the most, And I've been fortunate enough to speak with Bill and meet him on multiple occasions. And one time he said to me, Danny, he says, when I go in the studio, I don't even use click tracks. And I said, man, you're beautiful, man. And I hate click tracks because I think and I'm not talking about for the, they're great for keeping you in time.
Right.
But what I think they take away is, like Bill Kirchen said, musicians, when I record, I want to know what they were feeling at that moment. So if they felt it should go faster or slow down, or maybe the tempo varies here or there, he goes, I don't care, because music is the most personal thing anybody can ever, it's like writing. It's like writing poetry or a novel. Whatever, it's coming from inside you. Now today, so many people sit down and they just push a button, or that's why I hate drum machines.
Right.
Oh yeah, but it took so much time to program this. Yeah. Find a drummer. So.
Well, a lot of people can't. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like, and it's right there, and they want to do something, and meeting the right people, like having a band, it's tough sometimes with personalities and with different people. So it's easier. But I agree with you. It's good to use humans on music with music.
Of course.
Right? I mean,
No, I know exactly what you mean.
brought to you by Darwin Industries.
There was an awesome thing on PBS called Soundbreaking. Did you guys see this?
No.
And it was basically they went through different steps of making a record producer. There was an episode all about music videos and different things that evolved over music. And one of them was just the recording studio in general. And I think they were interviewing Brian Wilson, and he said, you can make records on your own, but you're a much happier human being if you do it with other people.
That's
I
true.
think it's true.
That's true.
That is very true.
Those are awesome, by the way. If you love those.
Those, what? The
Soundbreaking.
sample,
Yeah,
okay.
I highly recommend it.
I have to put that on my list.
I will.
Unfortunately, I have
So
to
I'll jot that down for you.
jot that down for me. Also, put that right after you buy a television.
And I'll get your coffee. And I'll get your coffee.
I don't need any of that. I don't need a Boy Friday. I just need to be reminded to buy a
Wants to be an
television.
intern now.
I do.
So, all right, well, you know what, why don't we play some music?
Okay.
And then when we come back, we'll talk about our friend, Bob Mickey,
Sure.
and, why he has sent you to me.
Sounds good.
Obviously, he doesn't like you very much. He sent you to me. What?
I thought he was coming.
Me too. But, well, maybe Macon likes you, but.
Make it.
Wow.
Bob.
I don't know, I'm just, about to cover my eyes again because my eyes are itchy.
Got a cigarette? I don't smoke. All right, what are you gonna do for us?
I'm going to play a song called Hector Quasar. This is one that Mark wrote. It's about a fictional character, though based on someone he knows. Maybe he'll call in and give the full story. But it was originally called Ballad of Hector Quasar, but we have another Ballad of on the record, so that got shortened to just Hector Quasar.
Well, I should actually, two things. Number one, if you do call, give us a call when the song is finished, and we have, Jerry has been kind enough to bring in multiple CDs of the band to give away.
Yep.
Lots of goodies.
Yep, and he's got a T-shirt for the farthest geographical location that we get a call from, 609-241-7103. And yes, when we buy that Quasar television, we'll name it Hector.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Excellent.
If you're just tuning in, this is Rocco Radio. I am Danny Coleman. Our guest this evening is Jerry Lardy Harry of the Brixton Riot.
Oh.
And you're going to do Hector Quasar.
Yes.
That's all you, big
Because I cry like waves as tears roll down my eyelids. I know it used to be when everybody wants to know your name. My mid-level dreams gone and passed away. Black to faded, I felt your I know it used to see when everybody wants to know your name. Everybody knows your name.
Nice.
Very nice. On Rock On Radio.
Everybody knows.
It has that sound. It has a UK sound.
A little bit, yeah.
I love that.
Mark is amazing because he just, comes up with the stuff, and I think I'm gonna play another Mark song later. He just comes up with the stuff that's just out of this world and just things that I would never think to do. And that was one of them. I remember he brought us, oh my God, that song's awesome.
609-241-7103. If you want to give us a call here this evening and win something. We have CDs, we have Rock On Radio tchotchkes, we have Rock On Radio, we have, I don't know what else we have, but we'll find something. We have, what? We got
chocolate.
We have the Rich Yolanda and the DVD.
Mhm.
Oh, you're giving away a DVD tonight.
Yeah, special.
Hmm.
Here's our anniversary.
Extreme, and you were chakra cleansing. Mm,
You must
Mm.
cleanse your chakras.
yes, your chocolates.
Somebody left you a handful
You
of
must
kisses.
cleanse chakra.
See, you have a secret admirer.
Those left over from Easter.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know.
Well, we found who left them here.
Oh, okay.
They were in the basket,
So
I
now
threw
we-
them over there, and then I pulled them over here. My kids were here last week.
That she's your secret admirer.
It's not very secret.
That was my
Just
secret
like-
stash.
That
It
was
was.
us.
I pulled it. My girls are here, and I'm like, here's kisses, so I gave it to them.
Aw.
It was Mother's Day, so I gave them
Yes,
kisses.
Claire stopped by unexpectedly last week. I expected to be in here by myself.
I
and,
felt bad. I was like, hey, it's Mother's Day, let me grab my kids, let's go.
Claire stopped
Road
by
trip.
with two of her children. It was a real family affair.
Nice.
Buffet.
Are you complaining?
That's nice.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I found your doors to be rather wonderful.
Yeah, they
Aw.
were comfy anyway. I don't know, they were pretty comfortable.
The older one
Yeah, I
sleeping on the couch, the younger one bouncing on the couch.
It is a nice guy.
It is a very
Yes,
nice
they
couch.
liked it very much.
All right, so Jerry,
Yeah.
you have, okay, so this is the first disc? I thought Palace Amusement was the first.
No, Sudden Fiction was the
Okay,
first one.
that's your EP, 5-song EP.
Yeah, we did that one with Don Sterniker up at Mixolydian.
I remember that place.
Yeah, he's actually out by the Delaware Water Gap now.
Okay.
But back then, he was actually, it's too bad Matt was in the band. It was literally around the corner
Oh.
from where Matt lives now. Yeah, we were probably a little green when we made that one.
Okay, why?
It's funny. That was a bit of a learning experience. We went in pretty quick, and there were songs on there that I thought the lyrics were done, and then when it came time to cut the lyrics, I realized they were not done. So when I go back and listen to it now, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that again.
No?
Well, let's see, now, you have 5 songs on here, it's an EP, Battle of the Band, Deal with the Devil, The Single Life, There's Something in the Air,
That's the other Mark song I was talking about.
and Fiction.
Yeah.
Okay, now you call it Sudden Fiction, interesting title.
I have no explanation. We were just trying to come up with a title.
Okay.
And Steve, who is apparently the master of titles, because his name's come up a bunch of times now, said, hey, let's call it Sudden Fiction. I was like, yeah, that works.
That's all right, I remember my first beer too, don't worry about it. Ooh, today I remember my first beer.
Do you?
Mhm.
Well, what?
It was a Yingling, actually.
Not bad.
It's a great essential oil. I
He
Sorry.
Ain't that one of the pandas,
Yes.
Yingling?
Is it?
Ling
I
Ling.
don't know, oh, it's
Ling
Ling
Ling.
Ling.
Ling
Ling.
So
But if you
cute.
say it real fast.
So then we have the second one, Palace Amusements.
Yep.
Okay, that's a full length.
Yes.
Interesting title there, Hipster Turns 30. Nice. Carmine.
That's another Mark Wright original
Okay.
that I could not possibly play on keys if I wanted to. But it's awesome because it goes from just a straight up rock song to a waltz, like in the middle with no warning. It just stops and goes to a waltz tempo. It's like a minute and a half. I mean,
Oh.
With a title like Carmelita, I thought there should be a tango.
I think it was, again, something from his son was playing a video game and there was a character in it named Carmelita. Mark comes up with these great ideas for songs that are just out of this world and things I would never think they'd write about.
this is, yeah, I think you have to have a little bit of that in.
Mark, you
your-
should call in. I'm really praising you a lot.
They don't get the internet up and.
I guess not. Red back, yeah.
Redback, that's what, so, I think, I really think you have to have a special, gift, so to speak, to be a songwriter. You know, people write a lot of poetry, or they like to, journal or whatever they do, write down everything and so on and so forth. And, I mean, one of the things that I struggle with, supposedly I'm a writer, but sometimes I do more interviews and then just figure out how to connect the dots more than actually writing something.
Okay.
Years ago, I used to write more where I would tell a story. Now I kind of connect quotes in interviews. Sometimes I, give like when I review an album, I become more of a writer again than when I interview somebody. But I think it takes a special gift to sit down. Like I told you, you were here when Rick Barth was here, right? Or were you
Yeah,
not here? when
I'm
Rick
not
Barth
sure.
was here?
No, I think it was just.
Just me,
us.
you, and Art. Rick Barth's from up that way. He's up around the Clifton, or Mount Olive, maybe he's from.
Yeah,
But
he's up now.
yeah, he's up that way. Anyway, Rick is an incredible. His album "Hand Me Down Soul" it should have 2016 should have been the indie album of the year as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it was just phenomenal. But they craft these lyrics to go with the music, and sometimes I just, I was telling him, my daughter, and I can't get off that opening line, but my daughter handed me a box of memories about a month and a half ago. It was all DVDs and cassette tapes, and from when they were small.
Okay.
And, she's like, here you go, Dad. Just get some Kleenex. Get back to me when you're done, And I watched some of these things, and I know there's songs in there, kind of like, but I'm stuck like with Jim Croce, Photographs and Memories, or Green Day, So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, and it's, how do you write things?
You write about that.
That haven't
You
been
write
written?
it. You write about these sound familiar, but they're so true. You grab what you just said and you write about it. Everything's valid.
True.
Everything that you write is valid. Do you agree?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I seem to hit a wall when I sit down and try and write lyrics to a song. I hit a wall like, no, that's stupid. That sounds ridiculous. No, that's cliche. No, that's already been said 17 times.
Yeah.
Are you good at writing love letters?
Yeah.
Instead of lyrics?
Really?
I'll try it.
I've never written a love letter.
Write one too.
Maybe that's his problem.
Wow.
If you had a problem writing lyrics, I thought
Write a
maybe
love
if you
letter.
wrote it as like a love letter.
But it's not about writing. It's about like just getting in contact with.
What's feelings?
We've spoken about this too. Some writers are really afraid to go really, really deep. But the deeper you go, the more people will relate to you. Oh, that's a song about me. You're there.
Well, you gotta be vulnerable.
You got to be vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's very, very
I
important.
think that's actually a good way.
But it's hard.
You have to be
It's-
willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah, but it's tough because when you're so close to something, sometimes writing about it, like you said, you fall into cliches and things. And I think when you guys write songs, so you'll agree with this. I mean, I think I agree with it. When it becomes about something personal, you become 100 times more critical of what you're writing than if it's something that's like
No, you do.
you're writing from
You
a
do.
distance. You know?
You do, but I wrote a song once called "I Don't Belong." It was Deep Dark Secrets, and I said I'm going to release it. After releasing it, everyone's saying, "Man, that song's about me, about them." So it's kind of like, there's nothing deep and dark enough that someone else couldn't relate to and think it's about them. I think the deeper and darker you go, or the deeper and nicer you go, the more of a song you got.
Well, you tap into something.
Yeah.
That's not just
You
superficial.
see, you're unlocking my brain
There
tonight.
you go.
Very
It was
nice.
that, it was that iPad.
Yes,
It was that
with the
soothing.
What'd you do with the cucumbers?
No, if I had cucumbers, I'd be wearing them.
You're just tuning in. This is Rock On Radio. If you would like a copy of the Brixton Riots catalog, please give us a call. We will get that out to you. 609-241-7103. Now,
Yes.
before we play more music,
Sure.
Bob Macon.
Hey, Mr. Bacon.
Now you-
Call in.
Macon.
Sorry. Yes, that's exactly.
I know where you're going.
You know me too well.
So you're doing a brewery series?
Yes,
For him?
first
Okay.
one with Mr. Payday and
Oh, with Doug?
Mr. Payton.
with
Yeah.
Doug, yeah.
Remember them?
Doug is a character.
Oh,
I love Doug, Doug's great. And Successful Failures,
Okay.
Love that name.
Cook Douglas, well, not really.
Oh, yeah, they're a Trenton area band.
Is it Cook Douglas? No,
Yeah.
am I saying that right?
They're Trenton or from New
It's something
Brunswick?
I,
They play in Trenton a lot,
Okay.
the Mill Hill Saloon.
did I?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can help me with this then.
Okay.
Because I Googled that and I saw two very different
Oh, yeah.
acts. You know, one of them, it was kind of like a guy doing rap.
Mhm.
And then the other one was almost like the Specials, you know, like a two-tone, you know, thing from the UK. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. I like that, you know. But what are they? What kind of stuff is it?
That.
Okay, the Specials.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah. Yes. Now you got me
It's
thinking.
like a horn section and all that.
Yeah, they,
Oh, that's
like I said, they played the
very
Mill Hill
cool.
Saloon and in Trenton and I think they're a New Brunswick band. I want to say. I'm not sure. I'd have to look them up.
And then Disposable. Well, I'm not familiar with Disposable,
Yeah, me either.
but Mr. Payday and Successful Failures.
Oh, yeah.
We played with them a bunch, so always fun to play with those guys.
Oh, yeah. They've each of those bands have been on this program.
You got Doug on?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta look through the archives for that one.
Had the whole band on, actually.
They were fun.
I can
And
imagine.
remember that studio was hot that night.
Oh my
Remember
God, yeah.
the drummer was going and going and going and he kept on sweating. Just
Have you heard their new record?
They were on back in either the end of August or beginning of September.
Oh, okay.
I was on a different station then, on PANJ Radio.
Okay,
So you'd have to look in their archives for that.
I'll check it out.
Uh,
Their new record is great.
Is
Yeah, one of my
Yeah.
favorite ones this year.
Doug hasn't sent me a copy.
Really?
Yeah, he's my neighbor now, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Doug moved back to him and his wife. They moved back to Bordentown. So
Oh, nice. Oh, well, that's not far for you.
that means
Go get a copy.
to the ranch
to the Jocko
for
Ranch,
a rock on fire.
could happen.
See,
Well, that's
Think
an
that
idea.
happened.
I think that's a
That's a
great
good
idea.
idea.
We'll make s'mores and calm down.
I think it's time for the Rock on Ice pit now.
Yeah, right. The Rock on dry ice sessions.
Finally got hot again.
Right?
Although
After all
the
that
smoke
rain.
from that fire kept all the bugs away.
That too. It's because Jocko builds a bonfire the size of the space shuttle,
I mean, you have to wear the ice, but everything around.
like Lady Gaga. Instead of meat dress, you need an ice dress. So, how'd you get involved with Bob?
So Bob, that's a good question. I think we met when we sent the record around. It's on Mint 400, and along with Neil, you know, there were a bunch of Neil's the guy, the owner of Mint 400 Records, and so he pushed the record to a lot of the local press when it first came out. And Bob was one of the people that covered it. He was a
Oh,
big
okay.
supporter of it, which was nice. You know, he seemed to really dig it, which is cool.
And I haven't really talked to him. I was heavily involved with the 30th anniversary concert series as far as promoting, like a lot of the bands that played it were on this program, on my YouTube programs. Mentioned it every week in some capacity. Now he's doing these things at the brewery,
Yeah.
right? Not sure what exactly. It's just
So it's
like a showcase, right?
It's a showcase, but I think the big thing is it's supposed to be, it's a low dough kind of thing. It's $5 for 5 bands. There's
Wow.
a food truck there. Each different food truck every I don't think it's weekly. I think it's every couple weeks.
Okay.
There's going to be
It's outside or inside?
it's inside
It's the Asbury. It's the new.
the brewery,
Yeah,
which I've not been to yet. But
The Asbury Park.
It's in Asbury?
yeah, and there's going to be prizes. I think he's going to have a wheel or something. And I think he said it's family friendly. Now I don't know too many breweries in Asbury Park that are family friendly, but Bob's saying it is, so I'm gonna go with it.
The
Oh,
Osbournes.
yeah, no, well, that sounds like fun.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
they do it during certain hours, so the brewery says, come on, bring your family.
Could be.
After that, out.
Nice save, Mary Ann, that's a nice save.
I
Well,
thought,
no, she's not that far off
Oh.
because in the summertime,
wow. Sorry.
in the summertime, we had Rob, did you just snort?
That wasn't me,
That was him.
that was you.
He snorted.
My Lord. So in the summertime, I remember we had the open mic. Rob Dye and Cook Smith used to run an open mic at the Wonder Bar on like Wednesday or Thursday nights. And you'd get there for the start around 7:00, and the place would be mobbed. There would be all these kids. What?
At the Wonder Bar.
They had to perform and be out of the bar before like 9 p.m.
Oh, what do you know?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right, that's what I'm
because
thinking.
they were under 21.
Wow.
So
So
but
it was like
it,
down in the days where they had teen nights at bars. Remember? And they would close
Oh,
the bar
yeah.
and then they wouldn't serve alcohol. They would
Right.
just serve soda all night and charge you a ridiculous cover charge to get in there.
Before my time.
Remember
Like Obsessions in Randolph.
Yeah.
like what?
Obsessions in Randolph. Remember Obsessions?
No.
yeah.
No, but that sounds like, so when
It
is?
sounds like a gentleman's daycare.
No, no, no.
When is the show? When's the
It
show?
does though. It does totally sound like it.
When is the show?
June 23rd.
The show, where is,
Oh.
when is?
Probably good we mentioned that.
Yeah, 'cause I don't,
June 23rd, Asbury Park Brewery.
okay.
And you guys should come because it's a lot different with all four of us.
You sound great though.
Well, why don't you play another tune for us?
Sure. It's funny, I was looking over the list, we're talking about personal songs, and that none of the ones I earmarked are like that, so I was like, well, but that's all right, we'll pick another one. I'm gonna probably do something else from Close Counts, so that's a new one.
Oh, that's right. This is the new one.
Yeah, that came
We'll
out.
talk about that when you're done.
Sure. That came out in October. So let's try this. This is called Slow Evolution.
We've been drifting on a slow ride, a kind of sinking. All along the steady decline, bringing us down, and now it's bringing me down. So come on. Small changes take a long time. You're waiting for me. New direction in the blind line. It's turned us around, and now we're turning around. So come on. I wasted time with all these illusions, leading us here towards a slow evolution. Coming to terms with the thoughts and the solution. It's leading me cold, another slow evolution. It's evolution. Slow evolution. It's evolution. Slow evolution. It's bringing to the same lines. Looking at the changes. Can't always walk a straight line. Never turn back around. So now we're turning around. So come on. I've been wasting time with all these subtle illusions, leading us cold towards a slow evolution. Coming to terms with the thoughts and the solution. It's leading me cold on a slow evolution. Evolution.
Area of the Brixton Riot.
That sounds like this show something, slow evolution.
From when we start to when we finish.
You know, that kind of music, that song, you could feel the beat, even with an acoustic guitar and your voice, the energy. So live, it has to really be a lot of energy into the slamming, man, you know?
Yeah, Matt is an outstanding drummer. So
You could feel it, you know, he is outstanding, yeah.
oh, he's great.
Yeah.
He's really great. So this is kind of weird for me. Even I don't think I'm trying to remember the last time I played acoustic. I've done a couple electric shows when he can't make it. So I'll just play like Billy Bragg style with an electric guitar and just vocals. But this is weird.
It's hard, I mean,
Yeah.
but it's coming through, man, you can feel the beat.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Trying
You're like the one-man band right now.
I
And
don't
they're not
want to be
even
the one man
called
band.
But you know what? Give yourself credit. You're the person standing there
I'm more of
doing it.
a group guy though, you know? I like
Perhaps it's the.
having the.
But you don't want to give each of us an instrument, maybe Richie.
There's
and-
another guitar right there,
and
Richie.
Here's the drummer, but for the rest of us, I don't know.
I brought two.
Rich O'Jambo.
We'll dance.
No, but you can actually feel the pulse, the beat, which is very important. I know it's not easy, you know, but it's working. So.
I think part of it too is I'm pretty much just a masher
Yeah,
on the
well, it's good.
acoustic guitar, so you know I'm not very like.
Yeah, good.
So I'm just hanging away on it.
That's all good. Keep still. So Danny just
And you
put
didn't have to
a
dance?
dollar bill onto Mary Ann's boob.
Don't rob a bank with him.
We do have a camera.
We are on camera.
Oh, there's a camera.
No, that's
Okay, so the camera, so
So we'll go on for a playback.
busted on camera.
Busted, no pun intended.
No.
Oh.
And I'll make sure I point that out in the video.
No screenshots.
It'd be like Alice's Restaurant. Yes, sir, there were pie graphs and charts and circles with arrows. So how often do you guys?
George Washington, though, it's not a Ben Franklin, as I look at it.
I'm on a bougie.
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Was there a question?
There was a question in there somewhere.
So, all right, website, social media, and how often do you guys gig?
Okay, website brixtonriot.com or thebrixtonriot.com.
Okay.
We pay for both, unfortunately. Facebook / Brixton Riot, Instagram. It's all the same handle, just the Brixton Riot. How often we gig? That is a good question. It seems to be very liquid, or fluid, I should say, not liquid. That doesn't make much sense. So when the record came out, we played a bunch, and then we have like this winter hibernation thing we do. So we played our last full band show in November, and then in December, Steve and I did a solo electric thing. In February, we did another solo electric thing, and then in April, we started up again. And we were doing one a month, but even that sometimes is, sometimes it feels like a lot. So it's hard. Everyone's got kids and jobs and stuff. So, some between one every month and every 2 to 3 months. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. There's a theory. Do you play a lot or do you not play a lot? I mean, do people come to see you if they know, okay, or do they come to see you or they're playing again?
There's always another one. That's the problem,
yeah.
So, and I think we got into that loop for a while. We hadn't played a bunch because we were making a record, and then we started playing a lot, and so people were coming, and then it was like, oh, they're gonna play again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, we got to stop doing
Yeah,
that.
that's the proverbial catch
Yeah.
22. I mean, think about it. When your big, your major artists and your rock bands and things tour, you've got, oh God, next week they're going to be at the PNC, or next week they're going to be in Philly, or next week, God, you only have one shot to sing.
One shot.
Yeah.
Maybe two if they're in New York or Philly and you're somewhere like we are here in between where you can go to both. But after that, they're gone.
Yeah.
When you're a local bar band, whether you're original or cover, people,
They know there's another one coming.
they know, we didn't get them this week. We'll catch them when they're at such and such.
Yeah.
That was one of the major things when you remember Teddy Z.
Yeah.
Okay. When Teddy was alive,
Listen.
and Teddy never charged a cover.
Yep.
But once he passed away, the owners of the bar decided that they wanted to charge a $5 cover to come into their establishment to help defer the cost of what they weren't paying the band. Because that weren't paying the band. So people just said, well, why would I want to go see them there for $5 when I can see them tomorrow night over at the other bar for nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there seems to be almost like a shift in a lot of the places that we play at. I mentioned Neil from Mid 400. He does a night at Stosh's in Fairlawn. It's like a craft bar place, a craft beer place. Craft bar would be interesting. Craft beer place. And, you know, people know he's going to do it every one Friday a month, and it's free. So people, you know, it's packed. So, and we've had this conversation with some of our friends. Would you rather play to a packed house for nothing or for a little bit, or would you rather play, you know, get paid and play to 10 people?
Right.
And I think everyone would rather play to a big group, which is tough because it's like, you know, once they figure out, oh, you play for free.
Yeah.
I'd say Peter Mathis at Asbury Park Yacht Club. I don't know if you guys have been down there. I think the way he does it is fantastic because there's no cover, but the bands get paid.
Right.
And in the summer, I mean, it's awesome. They open the doors on the boardwalk, and it's like,
He also books for Langosta.
yes.
I love that place. We went there a couple of weeks ago. Langosta.
The Yacht Club is attached to it.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great. You know, I have a question for you because I really don't know this. I just heard it. Maybe, I don't know if you told me or someone told me this somewhere, that, you know, playing original music in New Jersey is always a tough thing to do, right? Because people always want to hear covers and that kind of stuff. But since BMI and ASCAP are laying down a law with fees, are people beginning, I heard that they are, people to encourage more original music for their bars so they don't have to pay the fee and they bring people in. I mean, that would be nice, but I don't know.
I don't know because I mean we're on BMI and I submit those records.
Oh, no.
Where
But yeah, it could be. It definitely could be in some of the spots. Yeah.
I don't know.
Where? I don't know.
I don't either.
Like, you know, other than, you know, Asbury Park and New Brunswick, which seem to be the two clubs,
Yeah.
you know, where they support original music the most. I mean, I'm not familiar with far South Jersey, like Cape May.
There's a guy down there named Jerry Ryan. He does a lot of stuff, but a lot of the places he used to book at are closing down. He's actually, he does these big festivals. His son is autistic, and he does benefits, you know, for, it's called Elephants for Autism. And he does it every year. I mean,
He does those, he has those awards every year.
Yes.
The Elephant Award.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, yeah, because Sophia was nominated
Okay.
for quite a few of those.
So what Bob Macon is doing is good.
Yes.
I mean, that's a good thing because it's always, being in New Jersey, it's always been very hard for original music to be, you know, just made like a human beings.
I used to host a songwriter circle once a month, once every 6
I did one
weeks.
with you.
Yes. And I used to do it at a very small coffee shop that held maybe 50 to 75 people max. And every time I did it, they were standing room only.
Yeah, it was great.
And then I kind of got away from it because the woman at the coffee shop was complaining that she didn't make any money. How can you not make money
Yeah,
with
yeah.
this many people?
Yeah.
Nobody bought anything. Okay, what do you mean nobody?
Yeah.
You know, and she wasn't giving me diddly to give the artists.
Yeah.
You know, and she said, well, I said, listen, you're selling cakes and cookies
And coffee.
and coffee. How much do you think? It's not like at a bar where you walk up to
Yeah.
you know, the bar and say, I got this round. You spend $20 on 4 drinks or more than that.
Beer.
Yeah, right.
On those nights.
Well, those things should be encouraged more. All that stuff should be encouraged. You know, we have to keep music alive. Original music has to live. I mean, human beings have to live playing
Now-
music or we're whack.
Well, let me ask you this much. Now, you said you're on BMI.
Yeah.
What kind of return do you see from that?
Not a big one.
There you
You
go.
know, it's funny. BMI Live is separate from BMI, so that's what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
for playing the live shows. And that has been well, I don't say very lucrative. It's been, you know, I get paid, so it's not well, but I get paid.
Right.
And I don't know what's going on with the regular royalties. I see the stats and stuff getting played, but I've never gotten a statement from BMI on the other stuff, and I know it's getting played. So, but I mean, every time I chase it, it's like trying to go down a rabbit hole.
If you do a TV show or you do a movie or something, you'll see it then. But like
Yeah.
I have never seen it either.
Yeah, but it's weird now
Okay.
because then you have Sound Exchange, which does the digital side of it.
Yeah.
And then through, if you do like CD Baby or one of those, you get a lot of the royalties for, not royalties, they're mechanicals from Spotify when they play on Spotify. So it's weird trying to keep track of all of it, as I'm not very good at it.
Well, so everything's brand new, and you can't make a living off digital downloads anyway. It's hard to make a living off that kind of stuff. You got to play live, I believe, right? You got to book gigs and get merch together and just play live.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I'm being totally straight up, we kind of at a certain point said, well, we love to do this, so we're going to do it. And if we do it at a loss, we're going to do it at a loss.
Do it for the love of it.
Yeah, I mean, that record, we went down and made it in Baltimore, and it was like, we know
The latest one?
the latest one.
Okay.
And, Jay has a reasonable rate, but it was still 4 days to mix and 2 days to record.
Yeah, I mean, still.
And, that adds up fast, but we didn't care, and we'll do it again.
Well, but that's the way it's supposed to be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way that it should be. So God bless you for that. It's good.
Thanks.
609-241-7103. If you have any questions for any of us in the room here, I have a question,
Shoot.
actually,
Yeah.
for Claire.
Oh.
Is there like, what are you doing over there? You
Drawing.
like pictures of
She's doodling.
doodling, beheading me? What is that over there?
Beheading you? Oh,
Oh, I see
doodling.
pictures. I see pictures of hearts.
Those hearts? Oh, those are,
She's gonna send you
Oh,
Oh, no, that's a circle.
that's a circle.
That's a nice butterfly you got going on there.
Oh my gosh, guys. I'm just,
Art,
I'm
the
an
camera,
art
the camera.
degree, so,
Hey, now wait,
Not her,
Yes.
she's right there.
wait a minute, Claire, now wait a minute.
yes, I do.
Right, didn't they sell like John Lennon's or George Harrison's doodles for
Yeah, well, I
John
know
Lennon.
George.
millions of dollars?
And you
Right.
know,
John Lennon,
John Lennon.
See, so Coleman's saying, give him that after he's going to eBay it after a couple of bucks.
Oh my goodness, good luck. You can have it.
And that's about what you're doing.
They got even less than that when they tried to give me away for a date for a night to raise money for charity. So
You
They had
sent
to
me,
break out his credit card.
I had a thing.
you sent me something that was from George's mother.
Yeah, we're not playing that.
Oh, you're not gonna play it?
No, we are not playing that.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you know what, George was a lot of fun, but that was way out of line.
I didn't hear it.
We are done with that.
Well, okay.
I'm using my mommy voice,
Your mommy
my
voice?
stern mommy voice. That's right.
I sent that to all of you for editing.
Editing. As much as I miss George and his antics,
It was bad?
it was inappropriate.
Oh.
So
I gotta listen to it. I haven't listened.
How long ago was this?
2 weeks?
last week before, yeah, whatever. You weren't here, so I
No.
don't. Yes, it was last week.
Okay. Just checking.
Been censored.
Oh, so why did you do another tune?
Okay. So I'm gonna give a little backstory on this one. This song is called "Move On," and it's actually about our two favorite clubs, which were Maxwell's in Hoboken and Asbury Lanes, the original Asbury Lanes.
Original, okay.
And I will clear this up. So about a month ago, we played with this band Second Letter at the Saint on a Sunday night. And Second Letter is awesome. They're like a super group. They got Peter Moffat from Government Issue and Rob Hayworth. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but they're awesome guys and girls, and they're just great. It was a great show, a lot of fun. So we're at the bar, and I'm telling the story. I'm like, all right, so this is a song about Asbury Lanes, and I don't know if you guys have been following what's been happening, but a lot of folks are not very happy.
They're split right down the middle.
Yeah, because they feel like, Asbury Lanes was a special place that Jen and Lainey made, and now they're coming in and in using the name. So, I was like, this is a song we wrote about Asbury Lanes. It's called Move On, which makes it sound like we're saying get over it. And James Appio afterwards is like, yeah, I don't think he meant to say it like that. And I'm like, no, I didn't. It's tough when, we're fiercely loyal to the original people with that stuff. We never played Maxwell's again after, the last one closed down. We got offers and we never did it. But if I'm being 100% honest, the idea that in August, I'm going to go see Ted Leo one night, and the very next night see Guided by Voices 20 minutes from my house and not have to cross the bridge to do it. That's appealing to a guy like me because I love going to see shows.
Oh,
You know, that's awesome, you know, but, you know, I wish them luck, but I do understand, you know, Asbury Lanes was a really special place. So it's kind of tough to see it be kind of homogenized.
Well, yeah, because it was pretty much a
Pretty banged up place, but in a good way.
dump.
No, I loved it there. I loved Asbury Lanes.
That was rough, man.
Wasn't that bad. I've seen replayed far worse than Asbury Lanes. But it was just, I always loved going there. We saw, my wife and I saw Screaming Females there like 20 times. It was, well, not 20, we've seen them
Was I there?
sometimes, but not there. Well, I don't know.
The Screaming Females or whatever running.
Are you familiar with Screaming Females?
No.
They're awesome.
He's just used to
Really,
screaming
just
females.
great band.
Females screaming at me, I get that.
One of my favorite newer bands. From
Where are
New
they from?
They're from New Brunswick.
I never
New
did
Brunswick.
Yeah, they're really good.
Okay.
And it's a 3-piece, and lead singer is Marissa Paternoster, and she's like this tall, and she just shreds on guitar. I mean, like face melting guitar solos, and the songs are all have great hooks in them. So it's
That's great.
yeah, they put on a great show. I like promoting other bands in my 2 hours. So anyway, so this was our kind of love letter to Asbury Lanes and Maxwell's. It's called Move On.
What did you say? Did I hear you say close it down? So what happens now? Where do we go from that feeling now? I just want to find out how to find our way back to those there, but we can't know how. No, we don't know how, but you gotta start somewhere. We gotta move on. I don't wanna move on. We gotta move on. This is all. This is all right now. This is all. That's where I am. Hanging in the back to the sun. Go as the sun comes up. Down Washington, we walk alone with our hands in hand. Ringing in my ears will pass. You don't know how I miss that now. Yes, I miss that now, and I wish I could go home. But we gotta move on. I don't wanna move on, but we gotta move on. This is our home. This is our home right now. This is our home. This is our home right now. 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 We gotta move on. I wanna move on. This is our over. This is our over now. This is our over. This is our over now. This is our over. This is our over now. This is our over.
Staring off there.
I love them cold endings like that.
Nice.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, I think I want to see more of your songs cold end.
They never end, my friend.
Ours are super short. We
No,
have
you-
super short songs.
Yeah, no, yeah. I love that. You wrote that song.
Yeah, yes. That was actually, it's funny because Mark and I have this thing where he'll write a song that's super slow, and I'll go, let me try that, and I'll make it super fast. That started out slow, and then he's like, let's play it fast, and he sped it up. But yeah, that's one of the cool things we're making that record. James called me up when he was mixing it because we couldn't be there for the mixing. He's like, "This is about Maxwell's, isn't it?" I'm like, "You picked that up just from the lyrics?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Right, good."
No, it's good. No, it's good.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, man. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I love it.
I feel bad because being the only one here, I feel like the other guys aren't kind of getting their fair shake. So if you did want to play a track from the record, you could. I'm more than happy to keep playing acoustic, but whatever you guys want to do is cool with me.
That's totally up to you.
Whenever we get to the next one, I don't know.
We can do that. I can, I
Yeah, play a
will,
track from the record, yeah.
I might have
You wanna
forwarded
give me
it.
one?
I think I forwarded it to you already, but otherwise,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
we'll do it right
It's
now.
different, and I want to give, they deserve as
Yeah,
much
yeah,
credit.
no, of course.
Yeah, we'll do it.
It doesn't
Here,
really
Art.
completely translate to acoustic guitar.
Well, that was, that's okay. It's unplugged.
Yeah.
It's the Brixton Unplugged ride. The Riot Unplugged.
When I started too, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play nice and soft, and as each song got a little bit louder.
Oh, yeah, you're beating,
I know. Just wailing on
Mikey
it.
out of that guitar.
I think it's character. It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
character.
man,
That's what I
well,
think.
you're feeling it, that's what it's about.
But lack of skill. What is this?
No, character.
No.
Did you send me
I just sent them to you.
And we're not saying it's a riot to watch you, because then you have to know semantics on those ones.
Some antics or some antics?
See? Potato, potato,
Whoa.
tomato, tomato.
So when did this come out?
That came out in October,
That's your most recent one. Close
Yeah.
Counts.
which was funny. You were asking me about when we do shows, and this is typical of our band where we're just kind of just off the mark a tiny bit. We played like 7 shows between August and September, and then that came out, and then there was like a lull in the crowd. Like, we really didn't plan that well. So hopefully next
Yeah,
time,
you're like supposed to play shows
Yeah.
to support them.
that would have been good.
So what is the meaning of the, with the soldiers on here?
Okay, so it's tied to the name. It's a picture of actually World War I grenade
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're
throwers.
like doughboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly grenade throwers. That was what it said on the back. It was a panoramic card that Mark found. That was one of those, they used to put it in like the panoramic
Yeah.
glasses to see the not three-dimensional, but full, panorama picture. And the title is a tribute to Steve's father. Steve's father actually passed away, as did mine between when we started this and when we finished it, as did Mark's wife. We had a lot of loss in the band, and I think Matt's father-in-law as well. So the record was kind of a tribute to them, and Close Counts, like, he would do a job around the house, and they're like, oh, Close Counts, that's good enough, And so that's where the name came from. And then Mark found the picture of grenade throwers. Oh, that's perfect for Close Counts. I mean, what's works better than grenade throwers?
Right, close enough. Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
But you just said parents and somebody's wife passed away?
Yes, Mark was married to Erin West from Micah, and she passed away at a very young age. And we actually did a tribute concert for her at Brighton Bar afterwards. But
Sorry about that, man.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That's all right. It's so I think loss is kind of, even though the songs are upbeat, it's kind of throughout the record there's an undercurrent of that.
Which one would I play?
Which one would you like to play?
Well, okay, I'm gonna let you pick. There's 2. So the first song, Can't Stop Now, is I think one of the best we've done. It's a real rocker. But if you want to go with the lost theme that we're discussing right now, Caroline was actually about my father's hospice nurse. It's supposed to be like a conversation that, let's go with Can't Stop Now. It's kind of a downer. And I'm hearing myself say these words back. I'm like, yeah, that's not a really good transition.
Now, do you see, Richie?
Yeah.
Claire, do you see? When you just let people talk, they talk themselves in and out of things. Just
I do it every day.
Well,
I do this to myself.
I did when I took the course with Art. It was a course on active listening. So
We found out he has selective hearing.
Don't motion that.
We never take a class for that.
Well, now he's an active listener.
We know Shalanda's got selective here.
Not anymore.
He said, it's like the guy, Richie, you want water? You gotta go down and get it. Rich,
No.
come on, I'll go with you to get water. Okay, let's go.
It's dark, he's not going down
He's not.
there now.
No, I'm done.
We'll go with that. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't stop now.
Or can't start. No,
Yeah, can't stop now. No, can't stop now.
Yeah, I can't stop.
Can't go down here. You know, it's really, I had a friend who was married for a very short time period, and his wife was epileptic. And she had two seizures in her life, one when she was a teenager, and one shortly after they were married, and that one killed her. So he decided to do a concert series called the Candlelight Concerts for Epilepsy Awareness. His name was Eric Miller. So, you know, there's a lot of good that can come out of tragedy if it's, you know, if you have the right people who are willing to help,
Yeah.
so to speak. That's a shame. My heart goes out to anybody who was lost. I mean, that's why Art wasn't here last week.
I'm sorry, Art.
You know, it's terrible, you know, one way or another, especially if they're young and it's sudden or unexpected, you know, things happen. But, you know, did you find it easier to write sad songs or happy songs?
No, all my songs are happy. I mean, even the songs that we're talking about are in major keys, you know.
Okay.
And most of my songs, I think, you know, I try to make them kind of universal, like Slow Evolution. Move On was pretty specific, but you know, those songs I wrote about my dad were the most personal ones I've done. And it was almost like there's three of them. Two of them are on this record, and another one's going to come out later. But it's kind of like, okay, I did that now, and now, you know, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to go do something else now, you know. And it's
Cathartic, right? Is that-
yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Playing it the first time we played it live was unbelievable. It was like, oh, you know, it was like a big release.
Yeah.
And I'll say this to you know, spin this in a much more positive light. And I think all the guys would agree with this, and because I know we've talked about it. In a lot of ways, the band is kind of like the support system. Everyone has dealt with something emotional in their lives, and the band has always been the one constant for 10 years. You know, when my dad passed, we had the band. When Mark's wife passed, we had the band. When Steve's dad passed, we had the band.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, we've also, you know, welcomed children, had, you know, seen members get married. So it's kind of like that's like our extended family.
Like a bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that as, anybody remember the show The Wonder Years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fred Savage.
Right, the very last episode, you know, they talk about how the father had a heart attack and passed away. And he talked about the dog. And that exact same, you know, it's a word I'm looking for.
The dog being there through all
Support
the,
system.
Well, the dog, you know, he was there when I went to school.
Right.
He was there when I came home. He was there when I graduated high school. He was there when I graduated college. He was there, you know. And then one day he wasn't there,
Yeah.
so to speak, you know. And it was a constant in his life. And I think that many people, you know, for me, you know, music is a constant in my life.
Right.
You know, it's never lied to me, cheated on me, hurt me. You know, it's always been there for me, usually at the push of a button, you know, and it's, you know, it always, one of the things that always baffles me how everybody likes music of some sort. But it always baffled me how many people take it for granted.
Yeah. You think it's always going to be there, so.
Yeah, like, you know, I love this band, boom, they just hit a button, yeah, but it pinpoints certain times in your life, it pinpoints certain things, it provokes and evokes emotions and everything from anger to sadness to thoughts to, you know, deep thinking and feeling. And can't remember what that Facebook post was about music. When you're happy, you know, you dance to the music, and when you're sad, you understand the lyrics or something like that. You know, but it's always
very true though. I mean,
it
it's
always
true.
means so
Yeah.
much, you know. So, but we're gonna do a tune. So
All right.
far, all of these tunes have been off of the new
Yeah.
disc.
I don't know how to promote.
called Close Counts. And this is Can't Stop Now.
Can't stop now.
Can't Stop Now, here on Rock On Radio.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Anything you want to talk about or anything you want to mention, just bring it up.
an open book.
You can tell we're very rigid here.
So scripted.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell it's a different vibe with the electric guitars and the drums.
Yeah, but you pulled it off.
Thank you very much. My wife was like, all right, we'll do one.
You could have brought her along for the ride if you wanted.
I was going to, and then my son was like, oh, he's hooked on Fortnite, so that's the new thing now,
Oh,
playing Fortnite.
True.
It's funny, you were talking about Mother's Day, and I have to say, my wife did the perfect thing that totally, to me, represents Mother's Day. So my son got a subscription to Yankees Magazine for Christmas. And it came with 2 tickets, to a Yankees game. We're huge Yankees fans. I can't believe the dog there, by the way. So I said, Jen, I got bad news. I said, what? I said, the games are all weeknight games and Mother's Day. I'm like, I know you don't want to go to the Bronx on Mother's Day. I mean, and we're just getting to warm weather now. We knew it was going to be cold, but I'll go. I'm like, are you for real? You want to go to the Bronx on Mother's Day? I said, yeah. And it was, a disgusting day. It was raining, but
You did it.
I think actually fate smiled on us because I am notoriously cheap when it comes to Yankee games. I will not pay more than $20 for a ticket because it's like 182 games. I'm just not doing it. Whereas my wife wants to be down real low. The day before the game,
You're happy in the bleachers.
very happy. No, not the bleachers. I don't like the bleachers, but the grandstand.
My buddy's got seasons in the bleachers, had them for 20 years.
Those are, I mean,
The
that's
bleacher creature.
for the entertainment value.
Oh.
I mean, the bleacher creatures are the best. I've sat there. My friend wore a Braves jersey.
Oh, it was over.
I'm like, Tim, that's a bad. This is like when we're in our 20s. Like, that's a bad idea. He's like, no, I'll be fine. And by the 3rd inning, he was sitting on it. He just couldn't take it. And then, in the 7th inning stretch, we hear, we didn't forget about you, redneck. Wouldn't leave him alone. So anyway, the day before the game, my buddy calls me. I work at Rutgers. He works at Seton Hall. He said, my vendor just handed me 4 tickets for the field level, 10th row behind the Yankees dugout. You want them? I'm like, are you serious? So we sat down there, and it was a whole other experience.
Ball game down that one.
But now she's like, we should sit there again. We can't. Those tickets are $200 a piece. Like, that'll never happen again. But it was a good time.
Oh, yeah, great.
There was this black guy.
Got like a minute.
This guy was built like a house, man. He had muscles on top of muscles, right? I watched them reduce him to this big.
Oh, creatures.
He had on a Mets jersey.
Why do people do that? A guy should, but that's not weird. That's it.
And during the YMCA,
Yeah.
these like 4 or 5 guys go up to him. Why are you gay? And they're like, oh man, they were ripping it. My kids are with me. They're looking at me. They don't know whether they should laugh. Like they would look at me. If I laugh, they would laugh.
Got like 20 seconds.
He falls in the past, man.
Ooh, cool.
Like it.
Thank you, sir.
Like the end. We can't stop now.
Yeah.
The end sounded like Led Zeppelin too, where you let the guitar fade out.
Oh, yeah?
It's all Physical Graffiti. Oh my lord.
Your favorite record?
Oh, Nobody's Fault But Mine.
No, In My Time of Dying, maybe. Nobody's Fault But Mine's on Presence, actually.
Danny Coleman.
So here's a question for you now that we're on Led Zeppelin. What are your feelings, all of your feelings, if you've heard them, on Greta Van Fleet?
I just interviewed their drummer.
Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah.
Get out.
And I actually got hosed.
Uh-oh.
No,
I know what your feelings are gonna be.
No, actually, the band, everybody, oh, we'll listen to Led Zeppelin, we'll listen to Led Zeppelin. I mean, obviously, the kid is Robert Plant influenced. But you know what? They're young kids. The oldest one's 21. One of them just graduated, or two of them just graduated high school.
Wow.
And they're touring the world.
Yeah.
Writing original music. On one hand, I'm like, yeah, they do sound like a Zeppelin ripoff. On the other hand, I'm like, you know what? Good for them. They're better than sounding like Boyz II Men or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's and it was funny. I had this exact same conversation. The funny thing is, I'm having this conversation with my 11-year-old son because he's hooked on classic rock radio, which is just the funniest thing in the world. I mean, some of these songs were old when I was a kid, and now he's so far removed from it. And he's like, I don't like Greta Van Fleet. They sound too much like Zeppelin. I'm like, you sound like an old record store snob. You gotta knock it off. But they sound a lot like Zeppelin, but people are going to shows and seeing a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
They sold out Starland Ballroom.
I know, that's why I interviewed him for the Starland show. And what happened was I told their PR people, I can't do the interview. I'll be away. I'll be in Myrtle Beach. He said, well, I can give you when are you coming back? I said, late on the 27th of April. She said, I can get you like 2:00 in the afternoon, and she must have reached out, and I said, fine. She says, do you want to review the show as well? I said, yes, I need 2 tickets and a photo pass.
All right.
So this was back at like the end of March, beginning of April, when she asked me about this.
Mhm.
So I had Estelle save the date to go with me, right, as a photographer. And, we're all set to go. Well, there was some screw up. One of the magazines that I write for that I told her it would be in apparently was sending their own photographer. So she's like, well, I don't want to give you 2 photo passes if you already got, but you write for it. Yeah, but no, they syndicate my column. I write for New Jersey Stage, so I need to, and I share it on that other site and this other site and that other site.
Mhm.
So, okay. So then she reaches out to me again. How many tickets do you need? I said, I need 2 tickets. One has to have a photo pass.
Right.
Okay. The day before the show, I get the email. Okay, 1 ticket, 1 photo pass. I was like, no, this doesn't work for me.
Right.
I need 2. I'm not a photographer. I don't even own a camera other than my cell phone.
Right.
Oh, nobody in capital letters gets 2 tickets and a photo pass. Oh, okay. I ain't covering the show. I refuse to go. So I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to still cover the show? You have a photographer from your. No, I told you that's not I can't use that guy's pictures. I
Yeah.
need my photographer so I can have access to whatever
Who's,
pictures I want.
Who did that to you? It wasn't the band or the band's people, right?
It was the band's people. It was their PR person.
I don't know.
And I thought to myself, I went out of my way to accommodate you while I was 500 miles south of here,
Yeah.
probably inebriated.
Probably.
Yes.
Well, for all I can get them make you speak. So, and then I wound up not covering the show.
Did you
I
get it?
haven't even done a write-up for him yet,
Well, listen,
which I'll get to.
if you play electric guitars and you play drums and you play bass, that's good. That's what I think. Or if you play keys, whatever, better than not. So why not, man? I mean, at least music's being kept alive,
Yeah.
one way or another. And that's good.
I interviewed the drummer, Danny Wagner.
Okay.
Nice kid. Very, very humble, very, very well spoken, very, still very much in all of what they've accomplished,
Yeah.
kind of like.
Pretty fast. I mean,
You're right. He was very humble. I can't even believe. He says it's great.
it's not bad.
And they were all childhood friends. It's 2 brothers and then the 2 other guys.
Okay.
And I said, what do you do when, I said, because I'm going to be honest with you. I said, I'm sure that that you've been accused of ripping off Led Zeppelin, and that you've been accused of doing things. See, that's the police.
No, I thought it was somebody singing.
At first it goes something in here.
Yes, some girls behind me like to decapitate me.
My ride's here.
Yeah. Here's your Uber.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, Dave.
they, yeah, and he said to me, he goes, well, he said, you know what, if we're gonna be accused of ripping off anybody, why not be one of the greatest rock bands in the world? To me, to us, it's a compliment.
Yeah.
So that's the way they look at it. But yeah, I interviewed, about 2 months ago, I interviewed Joe Satriani.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he said to me, he said, you know, he goes, I said, well, what do you listen to when you're on the bus or when you're kind of at that?
Not
time?"
Coldplay.
And he said, he said, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with this new band. They're very young. He goes, but I love these guys, man. Greta Van Fleet.
Oh, Get Out.
Yeah.
I can
So-
see that. I mean,
That's good. You know, I saw an interview with Richie Blackmore. And Richie Blackmore was asked, what do you think about people, you know, that joined his band, that kept Deep Purple alive, like Stevie Vai and Joe Satriani and stuff like that. He said, technically they're great players, but I have never heard them searching for a note. You know, they're amazing, but there's no stretching, searching. Everyone from the old school players like Hendrix or even Clapton or people like even Beck, you can hear them searching on the guitar neck, you know, and your music's about searching too. I mean, you know, right? You're searching for something. I mean, where these guys are technically just right there. But I think he's right. You know, all the legato technique in the world and all that stuff is fine. All the fluidity is fine.
You
But they all sound the
realize,
same to me.
do you realize what you just mentioned? Those examples you gave, do you realize they're all old school blues players?
Yeah, they are.
They were raised on, you know, Delta blues and the old blues records and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So
But I wonder, but wasn't Satriani and Vai too? They probably, when they were kids, had to put on those records and listen to them and stuff before they went to Berkeley or whatever.
I don't know. Vi actually started in Frank Zappa's band.
For
Yeah.
example.
I mean, that's just a weird place to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, yeah.
And Crossroads, of course.
Crossroads.
Remember Crossroads? I guess he was the anti-blues guy.
yeah, remember Steve? Well, yeah, he was.
Ry Cooder was I think the other guitar player who did all the licks, the blues licks.
For Machio.
For Machio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
Steve Vai was the devil. Yes.
Yeah.
He was the devil's guitarist.
I'll be honest, I go back and watch that like at least once a year on YouTube.
Actually, I stumbled across that right after I saw the G5 tour.
Mhm.
The very last night of the G5 tour was at the Count Basie. And it was Steve Vai, Yngwie, Toby Abasi from, what band was he
Not Animals as Leaders. No.
in? You know, what was that it? Maybe it was Animal something.
Maybe Animals as Leaders. He plays a 10-string. He plays. He's all
A 10-string, that's a thing?
Yeah, right?
Never heard of that.
And the guy from Extreme.
Nuno Bettencourt.
Nuno Bettencourt.
Are you surprised that I know these names?
And Zach Wild. Yeah, I couldn't hear for literally 3 days after that. I should have taken earplugs to that. It was freaking loud. But to watch those guys on stage was like, wow.
But what happens when you go to YouTube and you see a 9-year-old kid doing the same thing? Like where does you know?
Well, little Asmar.
You know, little ass one. But you don't find a 9-year-old kid writing a great song or actually searching for that note. But you see them tapping and doing all these techniques. I mean, you see them. You could see an 8-year-old girl from wherever.
That's because of YouTube.
Yeah.
They pull that stuff up on YouTube and.
Are you implying that? What are you implying? All right, I'll shut up.
No.
Why don't we do another song
Sure.
before it's time to go?
All right.
You want it off the, or
All right,
how do you
okay.
want it?
Oh, no, I'm going to play.
You wanna play?
Yeah, drum one. That's all right. I'm still
wait.
thinking about which one to do.
Play another one off the. You can play another one off the disc. Don't play another one off the disc.
Excellent idea.
Yeah.
We'll do another one with this.
Do another one off the disc.
Wait, okay, yeah, let's do that, because this is gonna be like 35, 40 seconds.
So we're here.
The giggle fest will go on for quite a while.
This one was written by Steve, actually, and this was, excuse me. This one is an old one that I think he brought back to do in our book, but I think he wrote this a while back. To play guitar. Write a book about the hands I never shook. Might take a look. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Ringo Starr. I was the original to play guitar. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Ringo Starr. I was the original drummer. I should have known. I should have learned to play guitar.
Okay, so I'm sitting in the Hard Rock Cafe, Temple Bar District of Dublin. And behind me on the wall, I happen to turn around and look, and there's a drum head signed by Pete Best. Who still tours, you know.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
That's pretty cool.
He plays like, he did the Record Collector on Board
Oh,
and
really?
and smaller venues. Pretty funny though.
How do you think that's gotta feel to be Pete Best?
Oh, man.
That's a tough one.
Well, that's like every time I think about Vinny. You know, Vinny got fed up with Bruce Springsteen, not with them, well, not with Bruce, but with
Did he quit?
with the record company not, you know, paying him. And-
I actually tracked out, Vinny sent me a picture because Vinny's gonna be here for the open house on the 16th.
Okay.
And he's gonna sign autographs. So he sent me a picture and I just had 100 of them printed for him to sign.
Right.
And it is him and Bruce and the original E Street Band when they
Nice.
were like 20. I look at this picture, I'm going, so Vinny, who the hell is this?
Wow.
Yeah. When is that, Art?
June 16th, 11 to 4 right here.
In Hightstown at the City of Angels Studios?
Yes.
First Baptist Church of Hightstown, 125 South Main Street, if you want to come on down.
I'll be here.
Meet the original drummer of the E Street
And
Band.
we'll have Rich
I
Chalet
don't know
there.
what that's, it's June 16th?
Yeah,
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Okay,
I'm a recovery coach now.
come down.
They could come down, so am I.
I have, Zoe's never had.
Hey, Danny, guess what?
I need recovery.
We can help you.
But you've come to the right place, my friend.
I don't want to be helped. Rich will take the left arm, I'll take the right arm. I'll just, you know.
Hey, we hear a lot of that.
No, that was a great course. Thank you, Art, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a great course.
Now we gotta get you into the ethics training.
Yeah, we're going in.
We are. Next
We're gonna
month.
go in.
Are you coming for that one?
You can take ethics.
You need to talk about ethics, Danny.
He's looking at us like.
This way, Danny, when you talk to me, you can look me in the eyes.
I have no choice. Well, unless you have that thing
They
across
got
your
the
eyes.
Okay, I don't even know what I'm in for ethics, but if it's anything like the Recovery Coach Academy, it was pretty wonderful.
It's a journey.
Peer pressure, Danny. Peer pressure.
No, can
June 16th.
Please.
You and Danny or what with us?
You and-
We're taking it.
What? No, that's
He
not.
needs to take the recovery coach class where
Oh, he does.
there is a prerequisite.
Oh, I didn't know
For
that.
the open house.
I get the open
Yeah,
house.
that's the open
I
house.
bet they could come out and meet and greet us.
That's right. You gonna set up the table?
I am.
Beat the
We'll meet
Rocco
and greet
radio
the
thing?
radio
Actually, we're
show
gonna
host.
do a thing. I bought a City of Angels banner today.
Oh, good.
Danny.
Yeah, let's do that. And,
I got updated COA radio business cards with all of the new, the updated shows on. Rock
Yeah,
on
man.
Radio,
See that, Jerry, you're here at a
Help
good time. Not that it benefits you in any way.
I can come down again.
Well,
Hey,
it's on the
why
show
not?
that they'll keep publicizing the
There you
open
go.
house, so it does
That's right.
benefit you. That's how I.
609-241-7103 if you want to win the.
We're playing this next Sunday.
You know, I'm
It's all
very
important
touched.
presentation.
I'm very touched with you and the band and stuff, because the thing that you said about your band being the constant, the thing between all of the good and the bad and the in between and that kind of stuff, actually makes you and your music very, very valid. Because there's something that's real, very real about it, and that's what music should be. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Right, Danny? It's a good thing to have somebody that's really real. Good. I love real.
Real chocolate.
What,
Real
chocolate.
That's the chocolate lady.
Well, you looked at me, you looked at when I said I love real, well, you looked at me like that.
He's checking out our knack compilation.
No, I
I
know.
am, yes, I'm trying to find the song you did on here, I don't see
We
the band
did.
name.
The absolute worst knack song ever heard on that compilation. No offense to Zero Hour Records. So here's the story with this. I'm good friends with Peter Horvath from the Anderson Council. I don't know if you've ever heard
Oh,
of him.
yeah, they've been on the show.
Oh, excellent. Pete's great. And he is, Pete's a hustler. He was like, you need to get your band on this compilation record. Except it's like
Well,
that.
first of all, the compilation record, it looks exactly like the Knacks
Get the knack.
debut disc,
Yeah.
Get the Knack, except it's called Not the Knack. I mean, you usually got the Knack on the cover here, they have stars in their eyes, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's,
And there are two discs that are 17 and 15 songs apiece.
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
So we were, and I actually remember having this exchange with the owner of Zero Hour Records over Facebook Messenger while I was out with my wife. We went away for the weekend, and I was like, hey, we'd like to be on the compilation record. And he's like, great, what do you want to do? And I want to say, oh man, I can't remember what we picked. We made like 15 selections. He's like, nope, that's taken. And he goes, you can do Tell Me You're Mine. I was like, okay. And I went and listened, and I'm like, oh my God, this song is awful. I love the knack, but a little too much with the little girls and, too many references to little girls in knack songs. It's a little, So we started playing it, trying it different ways, and we said, you know what, we're going to just throw this out and do it in a totally different way. And that's what we did. It ended up being more of almost like a Britpop thing, like an Oasis style thing, for lack of a better term, much slower than the original. The original was very and I was like, yeah, it just didn't work. Every time we tried to do their hand claps in it, it just didn't work. So we was like, all right, we're gonna throw that out and start over. So our version is very different from the original.
You want to spin it? You want to hear it?
No.
No.
Not really,
I knew
no.
he was gonna say that.
I am not, and I love the knack, so it pained me that was the song we got, but that's okay. Sorry, George. I'm being honest tonight, but I'm still glad we're on the compilation because we took a song that we didn't like and we spun it a new way, and it turned out better than I think we thought.
So, and I see that the Anderson Council got
Yes.
Sweet Dreams.
Yes.
So how did he get involved in this? I mean, or how did he get you involved?
He is, I mean, he has his ear to the ground for these things all the time. There's always compilation records that he's involved with. He did one, an Elvis Costello one. He did a few others. And so he likes to give me a heads up. Like, Jerry, you should call these guys and contact this guy and see if you can get a track on. And so not only did he do that, but we recorded that song at his studio. He's got a little studio in his, he did in his mom's basement. And then they moved it to the drummer's house. But Pete and Chris Ryan from the Anderson Council have been so great to us. I mean, we've done more recording there than probably anywhere.
Yeah.
We do a song for John Solomon every Christmas over at 103.3 WPRB. He does a 25-hour Christmas marathon, and literally the week after Thanksgiving, we're at Chris's house every week or every year recording that song for John's show.
Nice.
So
See?
Very nice.
You have to record one for us, or send us some of your Christmas tunes. We do.
Sure.
We have a Christmas show every year.
absolutely.
3 hours long, and I play nothing but indie Christmas songs.
Oh, perfect.
Or indie artists' Christmas music.
We're thinking about going in to the studio and redoing them just to get them, like, not that they sound bad, but I mean, we literally, when we did them with Pete, we would have 2 hours to record it, mix it, and get out. So,
Right.
everything was kind of rushed.
Well, we got Billy Siegel as a friend of this program, so we got him introducing the Whirling Dervishes,
Okay.
Mr. Grinch, and all that fun stuff. We've got artists from as far away as Kelowna, British Columbia.
Oh,
Christmas
cool.
Music, yeah, we kind
Yeah,
of
send those your way, man.
do that. Absolutely. You have to come back for Christmas Spectacular.
Sure.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
absolutely.
Do you
Absolutely.
concur?
I concur.
Oh, good.
I was gonna do one of those songs, and then I'm like, I'm really gonna do a song about sledding in May.
Hey, first time I ever saw Springsteen was at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, night 7 of 7 in a row. And the very last night he did Santa Claus is Coming to
Did he
Town.
really?
And it was September. Well, the house lights came on at midnight. He played till 1:45 in the morning,
Oh my God.
you know.
September is, I mean, you're heading into, I guess that's kind of early.
Yeah, it was middle of September.
But I bet you everyone loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He was doing
Big sing-along.
cover tunes. He was doing everything. So, yeah, it was a Born in the USA tour, 1984.
Oh my gosh.
You know how much tickets were? $16.
Those were the days.
I saw the band at the Spectrum, $5.
Yeah. There's somebody has a site on Facebook, Asbury Park Music History or something, and they're like the Stones and Led Zeppelin both played Convention Hall for $2. Tickets for $2.
The Clash played convention, it might have been Stone Pony or Convention Hall, and there's video on YouTube of Joe Strummer on the boardwalk trying to convince people to go to the show, and they're just like walking right by him. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy to watch that now.
So, we are running out of time.
We got about a minute left.
But, greetings to Asbury Park, right?
Mhm.
What came first?
That was their first album.
The sign or the record?
The song.
Oh, you mean at the Pony?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Greetings from Asbury Park. It was a postcard.
It was a
It
postcard.
was a postcard, right?
Yeah.
Now it's a wall on the Pony.
Now it's,
Okay.
well, Jerry, that's it. We have to.
That was a great show.
We have to wrap it up.
What's
It
that?
was a lot of fun. It was.
Do you
I
have
talked
a-
too much. I should have played more songs.
No, well, we got 4 or 5 in.
Yeah.
We're gonna play another one as we go out.
Oh,
Tell
nice.
Art which one you would like to play off that list.
What was on that list?
Are you gonna make me find it?
I'm sorry. If you maybe tomorrow, it's very short.
Okay.
It's the shortest song on
There
the
you go.
record.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got that, Art?
I do.
Okay.
One of the faster ones.
Thank you very much. Again, you're playing
pleasure.
at the Asbury Beer Hall for Bob Macon.
Not the beer hall, not the beer
For the
garden,
beer garden,
the brewery.
for the brewery.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the
That's
brewery.
okay.
Yeah, there's 3
Is
of
that-
them there now.
Everyone goes, oh, you're at the beer garden. No.
There's the beer garden, and then the brewery's on the corner,
Yep.
and then there's the Asbury Beer Hall or Beer House, which is the old Rafferty's, Old Man Rafferty's. on
Oh,
Cook.
right, yeah.
So there's like, the names are all confusing. But, and that's June 23rd.
June 23rd,
Okay.
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Sounds great.
Well,
You guys should come down.
Chocolate Lady, thank you for our chocolate.
You're welcome, always.
And Thank you, Mr.
I
Shalenda.
concur.
You concur. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you for my dollar. It kind of fell. I'll give it after the show.
I don't believe it fell.
Don't make me screw that.
Art, thank you, buddy. Welcome back.
Good to be back.
I know you had a traumatic experience there with the family and everything, so. All right, we're gonna go out on, this tune that's called.
Maybe tomorrow.
All right. Till next week. Rock on!
Yeah, man.
Thank you, guys. A lot of fun.
Where and how are you?
I am in Ramtown.
Oh, you're right now.
Yeah, I used to have.
We're behind the Home Depot.
Oh, you're in Howell too?
Well, my husband grew up in Howell.
Okay, my wife grew up in Howell.
Oh, really?
She grew up in,
Oh, yeah, a lot younger.
perhaps.
We're 50, so.
Well, 40, maybe 44 is why. We're not that far.
I'm saying they went to school there.
I got fast cows, that old.
Huh? You got that? We are, we used to own the house that was directly across the street from the Wawa in Ramtown.
Oh,
On Howell,
yeah, yeah.
On a, it's a huge corner.
Right, right.
And then we